أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء المرسلين محمد وأهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين سيما الإمام المنتظر الحجة الثاني عشر روحي وأرواح العالمين للتراب مقدمه الفداء أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المجيد والفرقان الحميد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي زدني علما صدق الله العلي العظيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, hope everyone is well. And inshallah, also the wiladat of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam and Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam. Mubarak to everyone. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst the true followers of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. I mean, I will allow. So before I start, I just want to check, can everyone hear me loud and clearly?
Yes.
Yes, Alhamdulillah.
Yes, we can hear.
Alhamdulillah. Yes, Sheikh.
Brilliant. Right. Brilliant. Now, I will take questions at the end of the session, but let me first of all welcome everyone to this new course of Arabic through the Quran. This course will be very different from those who have been studying Medina Arabic with me. It'll be different from that because this course is going to be concentrating on the Quran and the Arabic grammar of the Arabic language from the Quran. And those who are studying with me Medina Arabic, for them it'll be very useful because what we have learned in those books, everything will be applied on the Quran. So it'll be a good revision for them and a good practice. And those who are joining these classes for the first time and trying to learn Arabic language from the Quran in order to understand the Quran, I'll try to facilitate for everyone and each and every individual, inshallah, so everyone benefits. So I'm doing 3 sessions for UK and America as a trial session to see how you find these sessions. I'll try to deliver them in a method which is palatable and everyone can understand at different levels, and every level student is able to benefit from them. And many of you may have seen the book, and those who have not seen the book, inshallah, I will send you the book after the session. And the first lesson in the book, which some of you may have observed, it's about the nouns, adjectives and nouns. And for me to discuss adjectives and nouns, I have to deliver a preliminary for me to start this discussion. And those who have just started Medina Arabic books with me, inshallah, you will enjoy it and it will solidify what you have already studied with me in book 1. And those who are in book 3 and book 2, inshallah, you will also benefit from them as well. From the points, some of these points may not be revision. Some of these points will be new, fresh points for everyone, inshallah. So I'm just going to share the screen so that okay, let's share screen. Right, okay. Now, first of all, for the first lesson in the book, it's about nouns and adjectives. For me to explain nouns and adjectives, it's important for me to go a step back so that everyone is able to appreciate the first lesson in the book, which we have chosen for this module itself, or this course. Everyone knows, first of all, it has the Arabic letters. Now, Arabic letters itself, everyone knows them, which are on the screen itself. So this is the basic thing which everyone knows. Now, then we have, I'm not going to go through all of the actual slides word by word, but there's some certain important points which I need to cover, and then I'll start the first lesson. Now, in the Arabic language, the harakat are very important. Now, we have the dhamma. I'll take questions at the end. So if everyone keep themselves mute, and inshallah I'll take your question, that'll be right at the end itself. So the harakat are really important. I'll be referring to these harakat in order to explain the grammatical positions of the words itself, because grammar, the Arabic grammar is divided into two parts. One part of the Arabic grammar, it deals with the harakat, the fatha, the kasra, the dhamma, when the words are constructed together. That's one aspect, which is called syntax. Now, this book, which we have chosen, it deals with syntax. Now, the other aspect of the Arabic language is morphology. Now, morphology deals with how to make the singular, how to make the dual, how to make the plurals, how to make the past tense, how to make the present tense and imperatives. That's called ilmu sarf. And ilmu nahu is this book which we are dealing with, inshallah. During the course, depending and upon the student abilities, I may touch upon morphology to give you a more thorough understanding of Arabic grammar. But all depends upon my students and how they find these lessons itself. Now, number one, first vowels. Now, the first vowels you will learn, it's a dhamma, fatha, and a kasra. So these are the vowels in the Arabic language. And then we have, now, those who are used to the Urdu script, normally when we have a shadda, we have the shadda on top, which is as a zabar, and a pesh, and we normally have the kasra or the zir underneath the word. But in the Arabic language, when you have the shadda, they put the actual shadda, the zir, underneath the word. So this is one point. And the tanweens. So we have the dhamma tanween. So in the Arabic text, you will see these types of tanweens. That's a dhamma tanween. When there's two zir, which is called kasra tanween, and a fatha tanween. So these are the tanweens itself. And the other grammatical points we need to remember is this as well. So there's two types of alifs in the Arabic language. There's an alif just like this without a hamza. There's an alif by itself, and there's an alif with a hamza on top. Now, those who have done tajweed know the difference between the two. So when there is an alif by itself in the Quran, this means that this word is hamzatul wasl. And when there's a hamza on top, it's called hamzatul qat. Hamzatul wasl and hamzatul qat. Now, hamzatul wasl is like in this ayah of the Quran, udkhulu fi silmi kafa. So you can see a sign of Saad on top. Hamzatul wasl, if people are not aware, I'll explain. Hamzatul wasl is that hamza, alif or hamza, which comes in the beginning of a sentence. Why does it come in the beginning of a sentence? In order to be able to pronounce the word. Now, if I remove this alif from the beginning, can you pronounce this dal? No, you can't. Because the dal is with sukoon, you cannot pronounce it. So for this reason, we bring an alif in the beginning and we give it a dhamma. Of course, the i'rab and the harakat of the hamzatul wasl varies from a fatha, kasra, sorry, a dhamma and a kasra. It never gets a fatha. And this is hamzatul wasl. It's only pronounced in the beginning of a sentence. But if hamzatul wasl comes in the beginning or the end of a sentence, it becomes silent. For example, if there's a wa before the alif, it will become wadkhulu. So this is hamzatul wasl. And the other one is hamzatul qat. Now, ya ayyuhal ladhina. So this alif with a hamza on top is called hamzatul qat. Hamzatul qat is pronounced wherever it comes. So it's one of those hamzas on top of, in the Arabic language, there's no alif, there's only a hamza itself. Alif itself, it's a prolonged letter which joins onto other letters itself. So there's no alif in the Arabic language as such. So it's only the hamza which makes the sound of the alif itself. So ya ayyuhalladhina amanu khulu. So here is an example of hamzatul wasl. So when there's a sad, you know this is hamzatul wasl. Okay. So this is something very basic. I just need to mention. And then we need to understand, because the first lesson is about adjectives, you need to understand and I'll explain, is that in the Arabic language, remember that everyone has this handout. You can go through this handout. I don't want to go word by word itself through this handout. You can read it, and if anyone has any questions, can ask me questions. Now, the most important thing everyone needs to know that in the Arabic language, all words are divided into 3 categories. Number 1, fi'lun. Fi'lun is a verb. Now, verb in the Arabic language, it's a complete ocean. Those who are studying with me Arabic, they know that there are 140 patterns for the Arabic verbs. So all of the Arabic verbs, there are 140 patterns, and if you master the 140 patterns, which I will try to bring during the course if there's a need and if the students are willing to learn, because I do require a commitment from everyone to be able to benefit from this lesson and for me to open the ocean of the Quran for you to understand the verbs of the Quran. So for you to understand and benefit from the grammar of the Quran, you need to know the verbs. Only knowing the harakat will not make you understand the Quran. You need to know the verbs as well, the verb patterns, for you to be able to understand the Quran. I guarantee you, if you follow me, I will get you through the Quran and you will start understanding the Quran. You need to follow the instructions which I'll give you, and inshallah, I'll make you reach your destiny. So number 1, there's 140 verb patterns which you need to master. Fi'l, that's the verb. So past, present, imperatives, and the verb patterns conveys different meaning. I'll give you an example and I'll continue. Like, for example, the verb ghafara, ghafur. Ghafara is a verb, 3-letter verb in the past tense, which means he forgive. So we say ghafara, he forgive. When someone passes away, ghafara Allahu lahu, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive him. That's one meaning. Now, if we want to change the meaning of ghafara to seek forgiveness, we put it on the pattern of bab istif'al. So it become istaf'ala yastaf'ilu. I'll give you an example. Istaghfara yastaghfiru. So adding the 3 letters from ghafara, istaghfara, ghain fara, or the root word, we add the 3 letters additional. It gives now the meaning of seeking forgiveness. So knowing these different patterns, it gives you a greater in-depth understanding of the meaning of the verbs and the meaning of the sentences of the Quran. Just reading it from the English translations will not get that understanding or an in-depth understanding. So to understand the Quran, you need to know Arabic sarf and nahu to be able to get that, quench your thirst, inshallah. Then we have the nouns. And nouns are adjectives, pronouns, and all of these come in the category of nouns itself. And then we have particles. Now, particles, and those who have started Medina Book 1, and those who have done before with me, prepositions like ala, bismillah, the ba of bismillah, as we say, ana nuqtatu tahta al-ba, Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, I am the dot underneath the ba. What does this ba is a preposition that when it comes before a noun, it gives the noun a kasra. Bismillah. Meme gets a kasra. I'm going through it briefly at the moment. Inshallah, I will come back to it and I will go on each of these categories more in depth. But I'm just, as an introduction, just trying to make you aware that what we need to learn for us to understand the Quran. Okay, so don't be overwhelmed that Sheikh is going through so many concepts. How am I going to manage? I will come back to each of these concepts and I'll deliver each one lesson or several lessons on each of these concepts following the book itself. But I need to mention this as an introduction for these sessions, inshallah. Now, the question is that as we are starting the first chapter, you need to understand what are nouns in the Arabic language and the signs of nouns. What are nouns and what are the signs of a noun? Because we are non-Arab speakers, so we need to learn how to distinguish a verb and a noun, as the first lesson is talking about adjectives and nouns. And this is the whole reason why I've done this introduction first, to make you aware, so that when you read the Quran, you will know that this is a verb, this is a noun, and this is a harf, a preposition. So fi, in, on, above, all are prepositions which connect words together and complete a sentence itself. Now, nouns. What are nouns in the Arabic language? Nouns can be pronouns like huwa, hiya. Adjectives. Now, adjectives are like Bismillah, Rahman, Rahim. So, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. I'll use the Quran always to explain these concepts. Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. So we have Bismillah, we have the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then you have Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, the merciful, the compassionate. So these are adjectives. Adjectives are describing words for a noun itself, and they come after the noun. Okay, so these are adjectives. So I will explain this as well. So all of these are not verbs, but they are nouns. Whenever there is a word which is describing another word, that is called an adjective. In Urdu or in Arabic, we call it sifatun. Sifatun, and the noun which has been described is called mawsuf. Right, then we have some vowels. So these vowels are crucial and important for everyone. Everyone who are doing Mafahim Quran, for them it's really important. You need to know this, that a noun will receive a kasra tanween, a dhamma tanween, and a fatha tanween. So all of the tanweens are something which only the nouns in the Arabic language will receive. A verb will never get a kasra tanween, will never get a dhamma tanween, do pesh tanween, or do zabar tanween. I'm using Urdu and Arabic as well so that everyone is on board with me. So a kasra tanween, do zair tanween, do pesh tanween, do fatha tanween, these are signs of a noun. Only nouns receive these vowels or these harakat itself. Number one. Number two, only ism can carry a ta'i marbuta. This is really important. So those who have done Medina Arabic book 2, I'm on book 3 now, and those who are at the end of book 1 or in the middle of book 1 as well. Remember when we did the verbs in the past tense? We did she hit, or we said she helped. We said dharabat, and we had the flat ta at the end. We didn't have the round ta. So whenever you have a round ta and ta'i marbuta, it's a sign of a noun. It's not a sign of a verb. Okay, so remember this point. So everyone has this. Mark this on your PDFs or your handouts, that ta'i marbuta is a sign of a noun, not a verb. And also number 3, and inshallah, once I've done this, I'll start the first lesson. Then number 3, alif lam. Alif lam is a sign of, again, just one second. Alif lam, what is alif lam? Now, alif lam is the definite article. What does it mean by the definite article? Definite article means it's a definite article in English is equivalent to the. Okay, if I use the word the, it'll make it easy for everyone to understand. The. So when the comes in front of it comes in front of a noun, not in front of a verb. What is the purpose of the? The purpose of the is that it gives it the meaning, it specifies it. When you say the book, you're specifying the particular or the specific book you're referring to. The book, the house. And in contrast to the opposite of the is a book, a house. What's the difference between the two? The difference between the book is you're referring to a particular noun, a particular house, a particular object. And in English, this is called a proper noun. And when you are referring to any house, it's called indefinite noun, a common noun. Ek gar, a house, ek mard, ek khatun, a lady. So it means any lady. But when you're referring to a particular person, then we call it a proper noun. Al-masjidu, al-baytu. And those who remember have done lesson 1 with me already in book 1, you remember this. I did this quite in depth for yourself. So this is something which is a repetition for you, and you will prefer it. And the other point you need to remember, it's beautiful what they have done in this book. They have put the next sign of a verb is this, a meme. So whenever you come across a word which has a meme in the beginning, whenever you have a meme in the beginning, 95% of the probability is that that word is not a verb, but it is a noun. I'll give you an example. Muslimun, muslimatun, mansurun, maqtulun. Which example? Muntazir, muntazar, muhaddisa, mujtahida. So you will see all of these different types of words I've shared with you, I mentioned, all of these words have a meme, and these are nouns. So what types of nouns they are, inshallah, if we continue with you, I'll discuss you the different types of nouns you will have. I don't want to mention the different types of nouns where the meme comes in the beginning, but there are a good handful of nouns in the Arabic language where the meme comes in the beginning itself. So a meme, whenever there's a meme in front of a word, remember that that is a noun. Okay. Right. These are the main things which I need to discuss, and then inshallah I will start. Because once you learn the nouns, the verbs becomes really easy. So I'm just going to see. Okay, now I'm not going to touch upon the verbs. I'll do the verbs at a later date, the signs of the verb itself. So prepositions. I said there's noun, verb, and a preposition, harf. So ala, upon, on, li means for, min means from, ila, like qurbatan in namaz we say every day. I pray 2 rakat salatul dhuhr, or I pray 2 rakat salatul fajr, qurbatan ilallah. Not illallah. A lot of people make this mistake. Illallah. It's not illallah. It's ilallah, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So ilallah, it's a preposition. Okay. One final point, and then inshallah I will start the first lesson now. This is really important. This itself, it's really important. Remember this. Now, in the Arabic language, when a noun receives a pesh, a dhamma, or a dhamma tanween, it's called the nominative case, raf. When it gets a dhamma or dhamma tanween, it's called the nominative case. When it receives a fatha or a fatha tanween, it's called the accusative case. There's only 3 states for a noun in the Arabic language. We'll get only 3 harakats. And when a noun receives a kasra or a zir, kasra tanween, a kasra tanween, or a kasra, it's called jar, and it's called the genitive case. So these are the 3 positions for a noun itself. I'll give you examples here. Look at this example here. Where's it going? Sorry. Over here. Kalimatun. Kalimatun. Now, this, when a noun receives a dhamma, it's called raf. Kalimatun. Can you please? Yeah, so I'm explaining this now. So Butul again. Yeah, if you know, that's the thing, I'll repeat something. That's fine. So here, kalimatun itself. So when a noun receives a dhamma, it's called raf, nominative case. And when a noun receives the reason why I need to mention this, because the first lesson is talking about adjectives, and for me to explain adjectives, you need to know this itself. And when a noun receives a zair or a kasra tanween, it's called jar, kalimatin. And when it receives a fatha or a fatha tanween, it's called kalimatan. Dozabar or dozer, a zabar or dozer is called nasb, and it's called Raf, nasb, or jar, okay? And this is enough at the moment. I don't want to get too much detailed because it'll be too much. It'll be too much information to absorb. These things, oh, inshallah, I'll come back to this slide again in the future because I haven't completely completed this. So I just want to give a basic introduction so that we can start the lesson itself. So I'm going to start now from the first lesson. Give me 1 second. Any questions so far before I move on any forward? Any questions?
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Can you give example of normative, accusative, and genitive in Urdu or English?
In English, okay, that's a good question. In the English language, we don't have this concept of genitive and accusative. It's only in the Arabic language we have this. I'll show you again on the screen again. Give me 1 second. Let me just get on the screen. The reason why I had to mention this, because the first lesson, let me just get back to the screen. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, where is it? Okay, let me use an example. Can you see the screen? Now here, another example, Muslimun. Now here, there's two bish, two dhamma, Muslimun. So this is called raf, and the word which is in the state is called marfu. Remember, marfu, there's a meme now in the beginning. So when there's a meme in the beginning, it's a noun. Marfu means the noun which has a dhamma or a dhamma or a dhamma tanween. Muslimun. Now, fatha tanween, musliman. Any kasra tanween, muslimin. So there's a kasra tanween here. Okay, so this is an example. Right. Any other questions before I start the lesson, first lesson now, inshallah?
Yes, please. Can I ask?
Yes, go ahead. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
We talked about briefly about Hamzatul Wasl.
Yep.
And we said that it is placed there. I just want to know, is it because of grammatical reason or is it for reading ease?
It's for the reading ease itself. So so the examples which I gave you, like udkhulu, it's those who have done with me Arabic language, they will know that when you make the present tense, so when it happens, when does this Hamzatul Wasl comes? Majority of the times, Hamzatul Wasl comes when we make the imperatives. For example, udkhulu itself, it was dakhala yadkhulu.
Yeah.
And when we make the imperative, it's udkhul. Udkhul. Dakhala yadkhulu. It's udkhul. Now, what happens is that you make the imperative, for example, you make the imperative for the second person. When you order someone, you always order the second person who's in front of you. You say, enter. So when you say someone to enter, it's made from the present tense verb, tadkhulu. Tadkhulu. You drop the ta. We did this in the Mahir Ramzan as well. So you drop the ta, and because the ta is a sign of the present tense, we drop it, and then we bring, because the dal is with a sukoon, you bring Hamzatul Wasl in order to be able to pronounce the dal itself. And we read it udkhul. Like, for example, the first surah of the Quran, Iqra, Iqra. So Iqra, it's qara'a, yaqra'u, and it's taqra'u, you are reading. And when we're ordering someone who's in front of us, we say Iqra. So this Iqra is Hamzatul Wasl. The qaf itself is silent, and for this reason, to be able to pronounce the qaf, which is silent, we bring Hamzatul Wasl. So inshallah, I will cover Hamzatul Wasl. How do you make Hamzatul Wasl? And majority of the cases, Hamzatul Wasl in the Quran, it comes with the verbs, imperative verbs, when it's ordering the second person. Wadkhulu, washkulu, washrabu. Kulu, washrabu. Eat and drink. So all of these are imperative verbs, inshallah. We'll cover that. Any other question before I move on?
Assalamu alaikum, Maulana.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, sister.
You said same again. I'm a little bit confused about the Hamzatul Wasl and Hamzatul Qat.
Yeah.
Now, you just now mentioned that you never have fatha in Qad, yeah?
No, Hamzatul Wasl.
Or Hamzatul Wasl.
Yeah.
So, do you have the 3 haraka in Qadr? Hamzatul Qat?
In the Hamzatul Qat, Hamzatul Qat, what I recollect, majority of the times it has come with the verbs itself. So if it comes to verbs, there's only one pattern in the Arabic language, only one pattern.
Okay.
Which comes, there's only one verb which has Hamzatul Qat. Remember we did book 2 and we did Baba If'al, Adkhala, Yudkhilu, Idkhal. We did Ahabba, Yuhibbu, Ihbab. Remember? Uhibbu. Remember?
Yes,
In book 2, in
Yes.
lesson 1. The 4-letter verb, we recite this dua, Allahumma adkhil ala ahli al-qubur as-surur. Now, in Allahumma adkhil, this alif here, or this alif, the hamza on top, this is Hamzatul Qat. So only the 4-letter verb, the 4-letter verb, the imperative has Hamzatul Qat.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? And the other words, it may be with the actual other nouns, it may be Hamzatul Qat with them, but majority of only one verb has Hamzatul Qat, and other nouns will have the Hamzatul Qat, and there will be a sign on top of it, a Hamza on top, which will indicate this is Hamzatul Qat itself.
Okay.
Okay? Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
brilliant.
you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me start now. Inshallah, I'll finish this lesson within the hour so that you can let me just look onto the screen. Right. Now, I will repeat a few things from what I've just explained in the previous slides so that it sinks in and you remember it, these points. Now, as I mentioned about indefinite, you see in the first lesson, I'm not going to read it word by word because everyone has a copy of the book. I'm going to explain the concepts outside the book and you can read it in your own time. Now, here is the indefinite noun. As I mentioned here to yourself, indefinite noun are those nouns which do not have alif lam attached to them. So the word ajrun, you will see that an indefinite noun in the Arabic language will be a word, and in the word there will be the letter a or the word the copula a to it. Ajrun, a reward. Adhabun, a punishment. And you'll see here the dhamma tanween. Ajrun, adhabun, kitabun, kitabun. So a scripture document. Ayatun, a sign. Rahmatun, a mercy. Quranun, a recitation. So these are all indefinite nouns. And whenever there is an indefinite noun, it comes the meaning of a reward. And it has a tanween at the end. However, there is an exception. There is an exception that there are some words in the Arabic language like Ibrahimu, Adnanu, Ramadanu, Sha'banu. There are words in the Arabic language which do not receive a tanween at all, regardless of them being without the alif lam. So akharu, awwalu. So other and first. So these are words that they do not receive a tanween at all. So there's an exception, which inshallah we'll cover at a later time, inshallah. And then, as I mentioned, the definite article. So when there's a definite article, the alif lam, al-baladu, al-adhabu, the punishment. So both of them, so indefinite and definite, both of them can have adjectives for each other. So both of these, what do I mean adjectives? It can have a, for example, I'll give you an example of an adjective coming with an indefinite noun and a definite noun. I need, in English we say, I need a beautiful book. I need a beautiful book. So the word beautiful is an adjective for a book. I need a beautiful book. Now, when I say I need a beautiful book, you have not explained whether you need a lined book, whether you need an A5 size book or A4 size book. I need a beautiful book, any book. But when you say I need the beautiful book, you're referring to a particular book. So why I've mentioned this example, I need the beautiful book. So I'm explaining that both of these types of noun, definite and indefinite noun in the Quran, both nouns can have adjectives. The adjectives will differ from each other. Why? They will differ from each other because one noun has alif lam and the other noun does not have alif lam. So what I'm trying to do by explaining these two differences is trying to explain that adjectives, when adjectives come with nouns in the Arabic language and in the Quran, there is a criteria of what can be an adjective and how an adjective comes. So inshallah, as we'll go through this lesson, the first lesson, we'll explain. Now look over here. Al-Kitabul Mubin. Al-Kitabul Mubin. So here, Al-Mubin is an adjective. Al-Mubin, let me just use this. I'm just changing the format when we're using so I can highlight it. So here, this here, Al-Kitabu Al-Mubin. Now here, Al-Mubin is the adjective for the book. So Mubin is the adjective for the Quran, the Kitab itself. Now, adjectives in the Arabic language follow each other. So this is the first point which I'm going to teach from the first lesson. The adjectives follow the previous noun which it comes. So what do we see? Number one, Sister Fatima Virani. What do you see Al-Kitab having?
Al-Kitab is definite with al.
Correct.
And al-Mubin also has got al.
Excellent. And now Al-Mubin, Al-Kitabu. What harakat does the ba have?
Dhamma, so it's
correct. Marfu.
And this one is also marfu.
Excellent. Thank you ever so much for that. So this is a way of knowing in the Arabic Quran that when two nouns come next to each other, and if they have the same harakat and the same signs of the noun. See this? I'm going back to the nouns, the signs of the noun. So if it has the same sign of the noun next to each other, you will know that this is sifa and mawsuf. It's an adjective. So this is an adjective for the kitab itself. Okay, I will go to the ayat of the Quran to explain this further. I'm not going to explain sun letters and moon letters. You can read this. You will know that the moon letters is when the alif lam is pronounced. The moon letter is when the alif lam is completely pronounced, like al-yawmu. So when you say al-yawmu, the day, so the alif lam is completely pronounced. So this is called the moon letters. Al-kitabu. After the alif lam, the letter which is coming after the alif lam, the first letter is pronounced. So that's called the moon letters. And the sun letters, so all of these are alif, ya, waw, ha, mim, kaf, qaf, fa, gha, ain, qaf, ha, jim, and ba. All of these are the moon letters. So the moon letters are those letters that if alif lam comes before them, alif lam, the definite article, is pronounced. Okay, and then we have the sun letters where the noon, so the alif of the definite article is not pronounced. So an-najumu, al-lahmu, al-dhuhru, al-tuhru. So you will see ar-rahmatu. So ar-rahmatu, the alif, the lam has become silent, and the letter after the lam, we have put a shadda on it. So this is a sign of the sun letters itself. Okay, and then ar-rasulu, the apostle. Right, let's go forward. Let's move on. Now, the other point I need to mention is the ta'i marbuta. You remember I spoke about the ta'i marbuta just a few minutes ago, about 5 minutes ago. Now, ta'i marbuta, ayatun rahmatun. Ayatun and rahmatun is a sign of a noun, and you can see it in the Quran. Ayatun and rahmatun. So ayatun means a sign, rahmatun a mercy, and when the alif lam comes, al ayatu, ar rahmatu. So one is this is an indefinite noun, and ar rahmatu. So indefinite and definite noun. And majority of the nouns, when there's a ta'i marbuta, they are feminine, and there are a few exceptions that the nouns which do not have the ta'i marbuta at the end, like ummun and ardun, they are feminine, even though there's no sign of a ta'i marbuta at the end. So there are some exceptions that there are no signs of ta'i marbuta at the end, but they are still feminine. Okay. This is the final point, and then inshallah we'll go to the ayats of the Quran, which everyone has been waiting for. So here, I'm going to ask one of the new students. So kindly, one of the new students, if you'd like to come forward. Sister Farah Nas.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam. Who's speaking here?
So, yeah, this is me, Ali.
Okay,
So,
Ali.
like, in Kabir, this is indefinite.
Yep.
Kabir is definite.
Correct.
Kabir is a male. Okay, Kabir, male, indefinite. Al-Kabir, definite, male.
Correct.
Kabir to definite female, indefinite female, al-kabira to definite female.
Excellent.
Okay, shadidun, same thing. Definite, indefinite female, al-shadido, shadido indefinite female, shadido definite female, male, sorry, male, not female.
Yeah.
Shadidatun.
No, it doesn't say so.
Shadidatun, indefinite female, shadidatu definite male, definite female.
Excellent. Excellent. So you see here, kabirun al-kabiru. Kabiratun ta'i marbuta at the end. Indefinite, al-kabiratu definite. So shadidun is without alif lam, and it has a tanween. And when there's alif lam, the last letter will have only one dhamma, ash-shadidu. Shadidatun, ash-shadidatu, having a dhamma at the end because of the alif lam. So whenever there's an alif lam, the letter at the end will only receive one dhamma. You cannot have indefinite, a tanween, and alif lam together. They are two opposites of each other. They never gather together. Okay. Now, this is the most important part which we was waiting for. I'm going to ask one of the new individuals, Sister Asma. There's someone called Asma Razaz. Would you like to come on the mic, Sister Asma?
Yes, sir.
Alaikum assalam. Where are you from, Sister Asma?
From Dubai.
From Dubai. So Asma, now it says here now adjectives. Now there are 4 signs of an adjective. So this is the most important thing. When you read the Quran, you will know that this is coming as a sifa, as an adjective for the previous noun. So an adjective used attributively follows the noun and must agree with the noun in 4 things. Definiteness. What does this mean? Number 1, what does that mean?
Whether if it is proper or common. No.
Excellent. And use these examples here. Al-fawzul,
Al-azimun. Al-azimun.
al-azimu. Exactly. So what do you see here? Explain to me, how does this apply upon this ayah? Or this word of the Quran?
Al-fawzu is definite.
Yep.
It's a noun, and al-azimu is describing it, so it's the adjective.
Exactly.
So,
and what do you see as well?
They both are definite.
Correct. And in English language, this is Asma as well, when you translate it, you always translate the adjective first. So look at the translation. The great victory. It's not victory great. You always try and do the adjective first. The great victory.
Right.
And also it says gender. What do you see here? Gender.
Al-Fawzu is male,
Yes.
and same as Al-Azimu is also male.
How do you know that it's male?
Because there is no ta marbuta in there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Mashallah, mashallah. I do apologize that I've put you on the spot, but that's the way I teach. I like putting people's students, bringing them in the class so that they feel part of the class, just not me speaking itself. I hope you didn't, inshallah. Thank you.
No. Thank you.
Now, next one, number. What does number mean here? I'm going to ask someone else this question. So one of the sister, who should I choose? Sister Sadiqa Kanani or Sister Farah Naza mentioned that. Alaikum Salam. Now, it says next one, Al-Yawmul Akhiru, the last day.
Yeah.
Now, explain to me, it says number. What does it mean by number? That when an adjective comes, the number will be the same. It's a tough question, but I will help you if you because I haven't thought this yet. But I just want to see if you can guess what does this imply.
Can I say?
What is this, sir? Would you know the answer, or you pass on this?
So it's like a singular plural.
Yeah, I mean, when it talks about number, yeah, singular plural, exactly. So al-yawmu is exactly. So when it talks about number, it means that when an adjective, remember this point. So write this down as well. When an adjective comes for human beings, they correspond with each other. So if it's plural, like Muslimun mujtahiduna, Muslimuna mujtahiduna. Muslimuna mujtahiduna. So the hardworking Muslims. So they will correspond with each other. So adjectives always follow the noun which they're describing, whether it's singular, dual, or plural.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you ever so much for that. Next person I'm going to ask is Sister. Can I have some brothers? Any brothers? Any brother would like to come forward?
Yeah,
okay. Let's get to someone else, one of the other brothers, if possible. If no, then I'll choose Sister Noor Jafar. Sister Noor Jafar, would you like to come on the mic, please?
Assalamu alaikum.
Rahmatullah. Now, next one, Sister number 4. It says case. Case itself, it means the i'rab, meaning like case meaning the ending, exactly. Excellent. So explain to me, what does it mean by the case itself, the ending?
You mean Quranun Mubin? Shall I explain that?
Yes, please.
Quranun, there is marfu, 2 tanween,
Yes.
Mubin, and there's tanween marfu.
Excellent. So what's happening here? Explain, how is it an adjective? Where is the adjective, and what does this mean? The casing of both of the ending of nouns. What does this mean?
Quran is the book, noun. Mubin is the adjective, or clear book. So if Quran is Quranun, the adjective follows the pattern. Mubinun. So
Excellent.
This is Quranun, Mubinun. Both have 2 marfu, tanween marfu.
Excellent. MashaAllah. Excellent. And over here, al-fawzul azimu. Al-fawzul azimu. So what's happening in this sentence, the case ending? The case ending means the last letter, the zal and the mim.
Al-fawdu, this is a definite noun with marfu. When there's alif lam, there's only single, there's no tanween. So al-fawdu, al-adimu. Again, you have alif lam, and then you have adimu. Mu is a single marfu. There's no tanween here. Both are the same.
MashaAllah.
In agreement to each other's.
MashaAllah. Excellent. Is this clear for you so far?
Yes. For me, yes.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Can I have next person on the mic? So let's bring, who should we? someone called Zainab Jafar. Zainab Jafar or Shabnam or Shanaz Hussain. Or Sister Shanaz Hussain can kindly come on the mic. No, some people's mic's not working. Right. Sister Sister Parveen Naqvi. Sister Parveen Naqvi. Can you come on the mic?
Ji, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Sister Parveen Naqvi. Now, the last example, Rahmatun Wasi'atun.
They both are like female.
Correct.
They have ta marbuta at the end, and they are indefinite.
Excellent.
Rahmatun wasi'atun.
Excellent. So the indefinite, they are feminine. Are they plural?
No,
or
they are
singular?
both like they both are the same number.
Singular. Excellent.
Singular.
And the Rahmatun Wasi'atun, does it have a Zabar, Kasra, or a two-page tanween?
I'm sorry.
Does it have a...
They have the matanween on both.
Excellent. MashaAllah. So all examples have Dhamma or Dhamma tanween.
Yes,
So
all the four requirements are in these both.
So Sister Tassin, come on the mic.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. I thank you for the question which you asked. I want someone to ask that question, and I'll go to that question now.
Okay.
No. So the question you have asked is that does always the adjectives come with a dhamma only? No. Let me go to the Quran. Let me bring the Quran onto the screen, and I'll give you examples from the Quran now. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I've actually got the Pakistani Quran on the screen, the Urdu text, or so that it's easier for everyone to understand. So let me give you an example now. I'm going to go to this first Surah Al-Hamd. I'm going to use Surah Al-Hamd as an example. Now, it says, Ihdina. So, I'll explain to you. Ihdina means guide us, okay? Or keep us on the guide us, okay? Or keep us on the straight path. Now, Sirat, the path, Al-Mustaqim, straight. Now,
correct.
Can you see here now? As-Sirat itself has Alif Lam. Al-Mustaqim has Alif Lam. Number 1. As-Sirat is singular. Al-Mustaqim is singular.
Yeah.
Okay? Next point. Sirat has a fatha. Al-Mustaqim has a fatha. So this is in reply to your answer. Does always the adjectives come with dhamma? No, they don't. They can come with a fatha tanween. They can come with a kasra tanween. They all depends on where it comes.
Okay.
So Sirat al-Mustaqim means the right path. So we translate the right path. So this is an example where the sifa, the adjective is coming for the noun with the fatha itself.
Okay. Because of your examples, I was confused that all the examples have dhamma or dhammatan. So the kasra or fatha, I was just confused and I asked the question.
No, it's good. Ask questions and I'm more happy to answer. That's the reason why I've got the Quran with me, to show you other ayats of the Quran, to give those examples itself, okay? So that's that.
Thank you so much.
Right. Okay. I'm not going to take more than an hour. It's come to an end of an hour. Any questions from anyone? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajjal farajam. So this was the main concepts which in this book. 1, it's about adjectives. So if you go through this lesson itself, you will see that I've covered all the main points, and inshallah, I hope everyone understood. If you look at examples, ajrun, azim, and so forth, I'll cover this next lesson in more detail so that everyone remembers this and memorizes it, and inshallah benefit from these lessons itself. So 4 points you need to remember. Definiteness, that the noun comes, whether the noun comes with alif lam or without alif lam. Gender, whether it's masculine or feminine. Number, whether it's singular. Dual means more than 2 people, or plural. Case, meaning whether it comes with a dhamma Dhamma tanween or a dhamma, fatha or a fatha tanween, kasra or a kasra tanween, inshallah. Okay. Any questions?
So in the lesson you have Quran al-Mubin. So why did you say Al-Quran al-Mubin?
Because it's an adjective for each other. The Quran al-Mubin. So al-Mubin is coming as the adjective for the Quran.
So if
Okay,
you
so-
write Al-Quran al-Mubin, is it wrong?
So if you write
Al-Quran al-Mubin, no.
Al-Quran al-Mubin, so what? It depends on Al-Quran or al-Mubin. So it all depends upon, are you talking about the harakat or are you talking about the word itself?
What if you make it definite, you know, in definite, if I want to make it definite. The Quran Mubin is indefinite, both.
Yep. Yeah,
If I
so
want to make it definite, it should not be wrong, right?
no, it's not wrong. It depends upon how it comes to the Quran. So we're trying to understand the words in the Quran, how do the words of the Quran and how they are formalized in the Quran. So that's the reason why the Quran, it comes in different forms, the word Quran. So we're trying to understand from this lesson is that how the word constructions are coming for you to be able to extract meaning. So that's the reason why we are talking about adjectives in the Quran. So when you know when a word is coming adjective, you will know how to translate it and know the meaning correctly.
Okay.
Do you understand now?
But also in Arabic, you can change a fail, a verb into noun too.
That is separate. I'll teach you later how verbs. I'll teach you that as I said, that is the morphology itself. How from the verbs nouns are extracted. Like for example, qatala, dharaba, dharibun, qatala, qatilun. So from a three-letter verb, nouns are extracted. Yes, they are happening, but I'm not teaching this at the moment. I'm gradually going to build upon these building blocks, inshallah. I cannot teach all of Arabic grammar in 1 hour, in one lesson.
So it just came to my mind, so I just want to. Okay, thank you.
No, it's correct. Jazakallah. So inshallah, any other questions before we end the session?
Sheikh, we have a class this afternoon. Is it a continuation of this class or is it a
No.
new?
So those who have attended this class, the next session, which I'm going to teach the America group about 10:30 tonight, I will teach a different lesson. I'm not going to teach the same lesson. I'll teach a different lesson so that those who are keen and want to benefit, the other lesson at 10:30, I'm going to teach a different lesson there. And next session on Sunday at 5 o'clock, when I teach the UK slot, I'll teach the lesson which I taught tonight in America. I'll teach that as a first lesson for 5 o'clock. So I don't want to repeat myself. So those who are following me, they will get some benefit from both of the lessons, inshallah. So it'll be 2 different lessons in both sessions itself. So they don't clash with each other as such. Okay? That's the way I'm going to teach it.
Sheikh, when is the next class that you're
Next
giving?
class the next class will be the same time next week on Sunday, inshallah.
And then now today you're giving the American, what time is it?
Sorry?
That you're giving today?
So there's 2 times because the Americans are 5 hours behind, and there's the madrasas in America when we're teaching at 12 o'clock. So that's the reason why I had to 10:30 UK time session, which will be 5:30 New York time, which I'll be doing the lesson itself.
So how many hours after now?
It's going to be how many hours now? It's 6 o'clock now. So it's going to be 10:30. So you can work it out. So it's 4.5 hours.
4.5. Okay. Thank you, sir, so much. Thank you so much.
So the homework is that I want you to, the homework, now let me go for the homework. The homework I'll kindly request yourself is that in this book, if you go for the exercises, the link is already, it will be the same link, but 10:30. Now the homework which I need everyone to do is that I want everyone to go through the exercises and just concentrate and focus where is the adjective and where is the noun and what are the actual criteria which the adjective is following for it to be the adjective for the noun itself. For example, kitabun mubin. Mubin, it's an adjective for kitab, and is indefinite. It's coming without alif lam, singular, it's masculine, and so forth. I want you to do this so that you understand what is the purpose of this. It's for you to be able to translate the ayat of the Quran with knowing the grammatical positions of the words and sentences and ayat of the Quran itself.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Can you send the book, please?
Is
I
this
don't know
Samina
where.
Imani?
Yes.
MashaAllah, good to hear from you after a long time.
Thank you. Yeah. I need the book.
I'll
First
send the book.
book.
I'll email it across those who have emailed, filled in the form, and I'll send that across.
Or you can
Give
send
me
it on the WhatsApp as well. So
those who